Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, whatever time it is, you have tuned into the Reporter on the Air, your favorite public affairs show about Monroe County, Forsyth, Georgia. I'm Will, he's Don, he's Richard. We don't really need to go through all this anymore. Dude, Don, and Davis.
That's right. The three Ds.
The three Ds.
The three Ds.
Well, you have tuned in to the post-election show of the Reporter on the Air, and we're going to talk about what is happening in Monroe County this week. And we've had an election. Gentlemen, we've made our predictions, and we were somewhat right. I can't even remember exactly what we predicted.
What we got to do, Will.
I must not have been right
because I was writing them down. We
if I was right, I would have remembered.
I was right.
I think I said Tolbert and Washburn in the runoff, and it was Washburn.
I had them all correct. I get them all.
Good job.
I get them all.
The Kemp and anyway, where do we want to start? We've got all these results.
I'm going to start on something. It's just unbelievable to me that Kemp is going to be in the runoff. And I'm sort of in a quandary, dude.
I think it has to do with Cagle's campaign not even knowing about the Bibb Monroe line dispute.
What is the line dispute?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm in a real quandary here, and I guess I'm turning to you two and for your infinite wisdom. I first of all don't see how anybody could vote for Kemp because he's not doing his job. He hasn't done his job, which to me is a failure.
But Don,
let me finish all the way. Let me go all the way, okay? I don't understand why, I'm sorry, I don't see why anybody, I couldn't vote for him. There's no way, because I don't think he's a trustworthy person. I don't think anyway. We can go on right back down to the city of Forsyth. Why would anybody vote for John Howard? Let's go up to Atlanta, Georgia. Who's the candidate for the Democratic Party for Georgia?
A scofflaw.
Yeah, here she's got $74,000 owing to the IRS, owes a whole heck of a lot back taxes, but somebody voted for her. I'm sorry, I don't understand that. Now, you can say what you say.
I wonder if Gary Bechtel will call Stacey, is it Abrams or Evans? Which one?
I don't know.
Abrams won. I wonder if he'll call her a scofflaw. Anyway, that's
I'm sorry, that's just my frustration.
Well, let's take these one at a time. You mentioned Brian Kemp. Why did Brian Kemp come in second? Don, most people in this state of 11 million people do not care about the county line. It's just those in Monroe County. And that's why he came in fourth. His worst county was probably, I have to look it up, but I would think it's safe to say Monroe County was probably his worst county.
He still got a lot of votes here, though.
But he made up for it in Bibb County probably because he's been carrying their water. He's been carrying their water.
That's right.
Although he did not win. I know Casey Cagle won Bibb County. But anyway, it's going to be interesting in the runoff for governor, Casey Cagle and Brian Kemp. And Don, who do you like in that race? Obviously, you don't like him. Are you a Casey Cagle fan? He's got a lot of.
Let's just say I'm not a Casey Cagle fan, but it's like voting for the worst of two evils,
Well, that's what a lot of voting is.
That's right, and it's just I don't know. It's just really frustrating. I mean, here on the local level, we've got a runoff for the Board of Education. That's going to be really interesting. I was totally surprised in that one. Were you?
Well, no. It's about like I thought it would go. Don't you think, Richard? Greg Head and Phil Walker in a runoff to Phil as the incumbent. Now, in a runoff, incumbents do not usually win runoffs because figure if they're a known entity. Well, if they were so good, they would have already clinched the nomination.
Well, I've got a surprise for you.
Please.
I heard this talk yesterday. As a matter of fact, I received 2 telephone calls in this. And is it between Greg and Phil? Is it Phil has served his time. He's been a good board member. Why doesn't he just say, okay, it's over. I'm gonna let Greg have it.
Well, he has told people privately that he should not have run again.
That's right.
And now it's not private anymore because I just told it on the radio.
That's right.
But I think the voters have a right to know that if he's feeling that way.
Well, I think it's going to come out. I was totally shocked at Nolan Howard winning. That one just blew me out of the water.
16 votes.
16 votes. You
I was
know,
shocked it was close.
I'm sure that he will interpret that as a mandate. But, you know, Richard,
Overwhelming,
yeah,
ringing endorsement.
yeah, anyway, I'm just real frustrated right now, I have to admit, and I'm gonna probably express it in my column.
Good.
But
Don't keep your powder dry. Don't spill it all here on the air.
Oh, no, I'm not. It's gonna be real interesting. But I enjoy being an observer of politics, you know. It still twinkles my toes all the time.
Well, it's like watching, you know, slime. You know, it's like watching
Slime.
mold. Watching politicians work is like watching mold grow. It just so the infection seems to grow, but
Watching slime go uphill. You know? But anyway.
but it's
Dude, what'd you think? You've been mighty quiet over there. What'd you think about the election? Give
I
us
said it all went about exactly as I thought it would. Seriously. Except no one got less votes than I thought he would get. I thought he'd probably get 60% of the
you
vote.
thought he would trounce Matt Morris.
I thought he'd win pretty convincingly.
60-40 is a trounce.
Well, you know, it's
Not when one's
What about
a
in the
commodity and the other one's not.
what about in the city? The Howard, who's Howard's?
Yeah, you came out strongly, Don, and said that the city voters are not going to want John Howard back in there because why? What was your problem with John Howard?
It's because of how and what he put the city of Forsyth to with his cable vision bill.
He
and his
sold.
mom-
Oh, it's personal cable.
It's personal.
But he actually sold the cable system.
Well, I don't care.
He probably thought that would help X out his bill.
Okay, yeah. But you know, again, it just, you know, you look on the national level, how do the Al Sharptons, what's that crazy woman out in California? How does she keep getting elected? I'm sorry.
Maxine Waters.
But, yeah, you know, but somebody told me this. Woo! I'm getting in some dangerous areas here, but I'm gonna get in dangerous areas in my column. Some of those people think it's an entitlement.
Yeah, that's true.
And you know,
They are owed that position.
that's exactly right. You know, and then anyway, let's change the subject. Let's talk about something that's not depressing.
Something else. Okay, well, the city hall, the city council this week unveiled a sketch of a potential new city hall. Don, it looks like
Modern.
looks like the biology building at the University of Georgia.
It looks like a Frank Lloyd Wright design.
Yes.
You know, I'm gonna tell you a funny story. It's not real funny. When Carl Hill built the Monroe County Bank,
Yes.
oh,
That is a weird building.
Carl was a weird dude.
I agree with you 100%. And people wonder why in the world did he take that design when he could have made an antebellum or a bank that fit more in downtown. You know, so I guess this architect guy, he went around, took some pictures of Monroe County Bank and say, okay, we got this.
It is going to be close behind.
Yeah, it really is. You know, I don't.
It's like Carl Hill's revenge.
Yeah.
From the grave.
Yeah. You know, but anyway, I think it's, and you know, I think the idea of the city and the county going in on this is, what do y'all think? Dude?
It's not gonna happen. I mean, since the paper came out, it's already been nixed.
Really?
Yeah, it's nixed yesterday.
Interesting.
Greg Tapley said that the city's too far along on their city hall project, and they're not willing to wait for the county to get a
Splash money.
presentation plan together to and splash money. They can't pay for it yet, so.
Plus, they can't debate.
So that's a scoop.
Yeah, it is.
That's a
We
good
broke
scoop.
news here.
That's a good scoop.
The other reason is because they
Well, it
keep,
was also a predictable scoop. I said that it was never going to happen.
I mean, you got to fight over who gets how
But-
much square foot. You know,
Yeah,
well, we're
that's
spending
right.
Well,
20
the county don't even know how
percent.
much square footage they need.
Nah.
Who's gonna get a corner office with a window and all that stuff? But anyway.
All the empty buildings in Forsyth, and we're building more office space. And we don't have that. We don't have as many as we used to have.
What was most interesting about that to me was that the story made it, and Greg was the one who was there in front of the city hall making the presentation Monday night. Well, he was also the one who was most adamantly against it happening yesterday. So he didn't even believe what he was telling.
He just had to.
He
do
was
that.
just presenting
In
on
other words,
behalf
he
of
was
the
being a
county.
politician.
Yeah, pretty much. So yesterday when it came time, he pretty much told him, "It's not going to happen. This isn't going to
Well,
work."
you know, you read your story, and there is a sparkle of hope. The sparkle of hope being is, hey, finally, the city and the county are going to work together, you know?
You don't really think the county needs another judicial office building, do you, though? I mean, for $8
I really
million
don't have
or
an
whatever.
opinion on it. I really don't have an opinion.
Well, I have an opinion. They do not
What?
need another judicial office building. They just remodeled the courthouse in the last 10 years.
Here, here.
They have a nice justice center out there that
Here,
has a
here.
full courtroom
Yeah,
that
yeah,
barely gets
okay.
used.
Okay, I'm on your side this time,
Okay.
dude. I agree with you 100%. But, you know, this.
I'd like a skyrise. I'd like a 10-story reporter.
Well, they're talking about a parking deck for this thing. What in the world are we doing?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. If it's something, you know, if I were a merchant or if I were a businessman living at downtown Forsyth, sorry, Charlie Brown.
Just say no.
Parking is absolutely ridiculous. And traffic. I wonder if Forsyth policemen, I wonder if they've ever been to traffic school. You know, how to direct
I think
traffic.
that's relatively speaking. I've been to a lot of other towns that have worse
Well,
traffic.
now that the one of the things we have out of the election is that the transportation tax died, lost.
Did it flunk all the way around?
It flunked overall, but on that plan was going to be a plans to look into, not to do, but to look into a what do you call it, bypass around Forsyth. So were you disappointed that, Don? Were you disappointed they didn't impose a tax increase in order to pay for a plan?
No.
A study to study.
I think-
A study of the study of the study.
There you go.
I think that.
How many small squirrels, endangered small squirrels, will be affected by this
Mayor
bypass?
Wilson wanted to make sure that even though I accused him of not being able to get the bypass in, he said he got a study in. He wanted me to know that he
got a study.
got a study.
and
in.
it
Let me tell you
lost.
something, it's been studied, that book is so dog-eared, it ain't funny. You know, but again, the bypass has been discussed, I know, for 20 years. You know,
I'm proud of Monroe County, which voted overwhelmingly. What was the percentage? It was 2,500 to 2,000.
58-42, I believe.
Okay,
What happened?
58% of Monroe Countyans said no to an increase in taxes. I'm proud of you, Monroe County.
Fantastic.
You go, Monroe County. Good
you
job.
go, wait,
You go, very go.
but that was a good one.
That was good.
That was good. That was good. I'm gonna tell you something. The other thing that we need to talk about is the sheriff's race.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
But I gotta tell you a
Okay,
story.
well,
We're unveiling candidates one by one.
I gotta tell you a
We'll have
story.
another next week.
So we're at the Kiwanis Club Tuesday, and every week at Kiwanis they have these Key Club students, these high school
Right.
students that are in the junior Kiwanis,
Right.
which is the Key Club, and they ask them a trivia question. And so Wes Cohn, our president, asked Hope Brooks and these young girls, the high school students, what is going to be on the ballot tomorrow? And you know what they said? The sheriff's race.
No.
So they don't vote yet, so they don't really have to know these things. It's just funny because everybody's talking about the sheriff's race and it's still 4 months, 5 months, 6 months away.
Well, I think it's very interesting about this policy, as you say on your front page, the story you wrote, Will. Policy may trip up employees' runs for sure. So what's going to happen? Are the two employees going to retire or resign?
I think the sheriff will probably change the policy to allow employees to take a leave.
Doesn't he have to do it quickly? He's only the
Well,
sheriff.
Al could do it too.
Okay.
Al after John Kerry leaves to be a U.S. Marshal, the interim sheriff, Al Shackelford, could also
That'll be his
make
lasting legacy.
it'll always be the Shackelford rule.
Okay.
So then they can say it's not.
It's a Gerald Ford decision.
That's
Gerald
right.
Ford.
And then John Kerry could say, "I had nothing to do with this.
That's right.
I did not.
That's right.
I didn't rig
So-
this for my son." So
So what do you think's going to happen though?
I think that they'll be able to, Brad Freeman would be able to, well, this is the interesting thing. The county, the personnel lady her name is Janet Abbott.
Right.
She's saying, you take early, now, newspapers don't have retirement, so we
No.
don't know what this is about. But apparently,
Their ink just fades away.
apparently, if you have enough bank time, let's say Brad Freeman, a candidate for sheriff, is still an employee. He has 2 years of bank time. He has to be 55 to get full retirement. He's 53. He has enough bank time to retire. Now the question is, if you take early retirement by applying that bank time, are you still an employee? He says he's not.
Well, you still getting a county check.
So if he's not employed, he should be able to run for sheriff.
Oh,
But the county says, no, you're still an employee, you're getting early retirement, so you couldn't run for sheriff.
I think the county's correct. on that.
Okay.
I think the county's correct on that too. I think so. But you say they're correct, but you think it's gonna be upheld? Nope. Because I think you hit the nail on the
Well,
head.
they'll have to change the rule.
Yeah.
It will be upheld once the rule gets changed.
Yeah.
Then he can take a leave, and then after he loses, if he loses, he can come back and then take early retirement.
It's just anyway.
He can win. I was making a joke. Brad, don't get me wrong. Brad Friedman.
Jocko Evans could win. Yeah.
I think Michael Bennett is getting a lot of endorsements and traction that have surprised me. Have you noticed that?
Yes, very much so.
On Facebook,
Very
there's
much
been
so.
a lot of
Very much so.
the Norris family that lost their son in the horrific shooting of 2014 has endorsed him. Somebody else.
There's talk too. Is David Davis, who's head of the sheriff down in Bibb County? Why hasn't he said, okay, Biddick, you got to resign from your position?
Well, policy in Bibb County is more like what Monroe County wants to adopt, where you can
Right.
take a leave, but he hasn't taken a leave yet. But none of this would be applicable until qualifying. And we don't
That's
know.
right. That's
Technically
correct.
hasn't begun.
Nobody's
Yeah.
really, even though they've announced, they're not technically
That's right.
candidates yet.
That's right. But anyway,
Lots going on.
a lot. I call it intrigue.
I'm hoping we have so many candidates we can unveil them week by week up until
We
qualifying.
do.
in September.
We already
Yeah.
do.
I'm just gonna keep
And
bringing
the
them out.
winner of the sheriff's election with 7% is
7% too high. Hey, here's a question for you. What percentage of the voters turned out on this election we just had?
we're working on that. Okay, we'll have all those statistics in the paper next week.
I believe the high 20s for my estimate through my head.
High 20?
High
I think
20s.
high 20s.
That's sad. Just
I
so
was told
sad.
by our reporter Diane Gladwell, who lives in Butts County, that Butts turnout was 17%, so we have them beat.
Well,
But
let's be honest. There's some people, you see them at Walmart and you see them at Dollar General. There's some people you don't want voting.
Well, that's pure
I'm
ugly.
losing his gall over your comments there.
If I'm lying, I'm dying.
What about some people with Waffle House?
No, you want the Waffle House people to vote.
You
They're,
want Waffle House people?
they're knowledgeable.
Okay.
Because they go there to talk politics.
Hey, do the county, do they still have that meeting every morning?
Yeah, apparently there's a meeting. I don't know if it's still Waffle House, but I've got sources inside the Smart Mafia that tell me they are still a going enterprise and making this county run, really, running this county.
In other words,
Clandestine fashion.
they're taking
Names.
credit.
They're taking names and taking
Okay.
back.
All right.
They decided they came to a group decision to let Nolan serve another term. That's what I heard.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Let's talk about
16
graduation.
swing votes.
Eight. Eight. All it took was flipping 8 votes.
Well,
He was amazing.
tell me.
Do you remember when Ronnie Daniel ran against Nolan Howard? The only opponent he's had in his 25-year career.
Yeah.
And of course, Ronnie owned one of the most popular businesses in town even then, the
That's
Dairy
right.
Queen. And do you know how much Nolan won by?
I mean,
I think it was 16. It may have been 18 and 14. I don't know. Might have been 14.
well, this is
This is a wide margin.
Probably the same people.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I went up to vote in Blunt on Tuesday morning, and I was up there about 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Right, well-
There's 45 people who voted.
45.
Yeah.
And Blunt, when you go to the precincts, doesn't Blunt have everything in pictures? Like this candidate and put a picture because they can't read. Don't they have like.
You're thinking about the election in Jackson.
Oh, okay.
Jackson has to have pictures.
Illustrations.
Yeah, they have to have
Yeah.
illustrations.
And then sign your name
That's
with
right,
X.
that's right. They've got big pictures of all the candidates.
I would be fine with pictures. That'd be cool.
Then the ugly people will be banned from public office. Richard's got to tell us how the Bulldogs looked in the spring scrimmage.
Well, according to the headline, they look good. No, they lost 30-18 to Washington County the other day, but they were up 18-6 at halftime when the starters were playing.
Right.
And then it didn't go so well against the second and third strings. Maybe depth needs to be developed for the season, but first unit looked good.
Who's going to be the quarterback this year?
JT Hardage, he's the reigning region offensive player of the year. So
Oh, yeah.
Same way as last year.
He'll
Yeah.
be a senior, probably all-state candidate, I would think, in Quad A. maybe
Wow.
the best returning quarterback in Quad A other than the guy at Blessed Trinity,
Yeah.
which I think all year we're going to be saying other than Blessed Trinity in just about everything that Mary Persons is doing. But
So you think Mary Persons will have a good season?
yeah, they're going to be really good. They're loaded. This could be the best team Brian Nelson's had in his 7 years.
Woo! Wow! That's a prediction, isn't
Well,
it,
in the
dude?
last 2 years they made the semis, so the logical jump is to get to a state championship game again.
So here's-
That's
The big question, Don, is going to be here in about a few weeks. Who's going to be coming in transferring from other communities? So we'll find out if the last couple of years, Brian Nelson has been able to bring in some talent from other communities.
I asked him if he had any rivals top 100s coming in. He said he did not. But we'll wait
Well,
and see.
can they do that?
If they move, they have to actually, their family has to move into Monroe County, or they have to be able to show that they did.
Does that mean they can stay
We
in
can
Monroe?
subpoena his text messages and find out how much recruiting's
Subpoena.
actually been going on.
Well,
Does
let's-
that mean the family can stay in that local hotel?
Yeah, then they got an address. Antoine Davis came up from Tatna last year. He lives in Monroe County, I suppose, now.
Suppose.
Why
And then
do things get so complicated?
Colton Dingmore also transferred from Tatnall. And his family now, he is legitimate. His family lives in Monroe County, renting a home here. They're all in.
And Antoine's guardian lives here too.
Okay.
But it's not his family member.
Did he live there before while he was at
I think he
Tatnall?
may have moved into the district.
Okay.
I'm not sure
Okay.
about that.
But they've been great additions, and there have been some other transfers that didn't pan out. Remember, we had the quarterback that came down from
His sister still goes
Cherokee
here.
County, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just, you never know.
He panned out at Tatton. He was a pretty,
Oh,
pretty
good.
good year. for
Did he
him.
really?
Yeah.
Well, here's a story that just sort of intrigues me. Teacher turnover. Diane did a great story on that, but is this a characteristic of all schools, or is Monroe County schools, I mean,
We appear to be losing the most teachers at Monroe County Middle School, which is where my son is an 8th grader this
Why?
past year. And there is some kind now the principal there is Dr. Ephraim Yarber. He
Right.
came here from Bibb County. He's rather he's tough. He's tough, but you need a tough principal at the middle school. There is some grumbling and complaining. Some teachers do not like working for him. So I don't know. We've asked Dr. Mike Hickman, the superintendent. He said that this is just normal turnover.
no. I don't, you
They've
believe
lost
that?
14 teachers in 2 years, I think. Something like
Well,
that.
I don't,
You don't subscribe to that?
no.
We're going to look into this. We're going to compare other middle schools in the area
Yes,
and see
yes.
if their turnover is similar.
That's a good idea, yeah. Well,
Trust but verify, right?
that's right.
You tell me it's no big deal. Oh, we should mention that our district attorney had a send-off last Sunday.
I missed it, I
Saturday.
didn't forget, I forgot all about
I
it.
went in there with grass clippings all over. I came straight from the mower.
All
And
right.
I'm surprised Judge Wilson didn't kick me out of the courtroom.
You probably should have.
But Jonathan is now in Iraq, where he will oversee 3 military bases in northern Iraq above Baghdad. And
How long is he gonna be over there?
A year.
A year?
He wasn't there yesterday to make his plea for a judicial building in front of the county commissioners. So the interim DA had to do it for him, and she didn't seem to have as much sway with the county commissioners as he would have.
Who are you?
Right.
They,
Well, I'm
they
gonna tell
didn't
you
meet her for the first time. She's only been in, only been there for a year. But
Jonathan Adams, I mean, if you talk to people up in Butts County, where I go to breakfast and go to lunch sometime, they think Jonathan Adams hung the moon. They think he's just doing fantastic up there.
Yeah.
And I think he's doing well here, isn't he? Or
He's a very likable guy. He has a record of military service. He's very professional, very polished, and he's very common sense, and he answers your questions. Now, I can't say that the
all
court.
those things we seem to be lacking in this county.
Yeah.
yeah,
He stands out like a sore thumb, but
yeah.
but Richard will have to tell us. The court, as far as the moving things through the court system, which is his main job.
Right.
I don't know.
They're still low on trials.
There's still very few trials.
Wait a minute, they're still low on trials.
They, it's one of those things where they prep for certain things,
Right.
and people plea out, and so they have trial weeks where one trial takes place as opposed to having numerous trials ready
Right.
to go, which was one of my criticisms of the
Right.
previous DA. That doesn't seem like that's changed a
No,
lot, so
that
I
doesn't.
don't know the reason for that, but
I think
Lawyers
that
have a
when-
lot of summer vacations. We found that out from stuff getting
Right.
postponed. But
when 96% of your cases are pleading out, I don't think that's good. I don't think that's what our founders intended
No,
for justice.
no, I agree with you one hundred
getting
percent.
convictions. That's the way they see it.
You either try them, or I mean, if they want to plead, fine, but don't give them probation. And,
No.
and another thing, they passed yesterday in the U.S. Congress. They passed this prison reform, and I don't know the details of it, but it seems like
Tell me more, brother.
I'm hearing a lot of people call it jailbreak legislation. We just had a
Well, Commissioner Evans' argument for not having a judicial building was that we're going to have less crimes. We're letting them all out.
no. That's we're going to have more crimes.
I know that, but that wasn't the rationale they used.
We had a gentleman who was arrested on Willis Wilder the other day in a major drug bust. He had meth, he
Yes.
had coke, he had everything. Guess where he was in December?
In jail.
In the state prison. And they just let him out, and he's already peddling.
Was he let out for good behavior?
Probably.
Okay.
No, he was let out because he was doing too much drug dealing in prison. They had to get him out of there.
Well, I wouldn't be a bit surprised at it. You know, that's just what gets me. We have gotten so. I'm gonna say this. I think we've gotten so lenient on crime that you know.
Well, look,
Hey,
we've all
kids will commit a crime. They say, hey, yeah, I'm gonna commit a crime
We've
because
seen-
I'll get pardoned.
we've seen this movie before. Those of us who are older, Don, you remember in the 80s, well, in the 70s, we got very lax on crime, and we were letting people out. In the 80s, almost every state came up with a 3 strikes and you're law,
Oh, yeah.
3 strikes and you're outlaw. And this state, Georgia, Zell Miller said no, 2 strikes and you're out.
That's
And
right.
we started locking everybody up. Our prison population shot up to like 70,000, but hey, crime was
It was
down.
serving its purpose.
Serving its purpose. So in the last 5 years, there's been a movement amongst a lot of political conservatives like myself, and I don't agree with
Like
that.
Governor Deal.
Governor Deal, that hey, we've got to quit warehousing everybody. We're sending them all to prison, and they're not being productive. And I think maybe their heart is in the right place. They're trying to reform these people. But I saw a study from the Department of Justice yesterday that 90% of those released from prison go back. 6 out of 7 inmates released from prison go back.
The recidivism
So-
rate is unbelievable.
You can say we should rehab, you can say we shouldn't have people go back to prison, but they are because they are criminals.
Well, you got to look at it another way too. The life in prison is probably a hell of a lot better than the life outside of prison.
Yeah. And we're not doing it for them, we're doing it for us.
That's right. Well, you know, prisoners, again, I go back to growing up as they had the chain gang. And man, the parents would say, if you don't want to wind up on the chain gang, you better straighten up. You know, there was a fear in that you were going to be punished. I don't, there's no fear out there of being punished. It's just.
I don't want to get arrested for the cell phone law come July. That's my. That's
gosh.
my
Why that?
I don't want to get arrested for the cell phone law legislation.
Everybody is cheering that law.
I hope that they let me out if I end up getting booked for that.
It'll be the most violated law except for speeding laws on the books. And they are turning all Georgians into criminals. It's not going to change behavior. I don't think it.
No.
And I agree it's a problem. I just don't think the law is the solution to every problem.
Well,
Well,
the
it's just
texting
like-
was the problem. I don't think talking.
Yeah, if you're looking at it,
Yeah,
you're trying-
yeah, I think-
Well, just like in Atlanta, the HOV lane is probably the least enforced piece of property in the
They
city
do
of
mail you
Atlanta.
tickets though.
Yeah, they take a picture of your license plate.
Yeah,
I got one.
but you go into some areas and where there's a HOV lane and there's no cameras, hey, man, we gonna get in there.
We're out of time, guys. Thanks for
really?
joining us for the report on the radio.
Wow.
See this number right here, Don, that shows you when it's getting close to 30. That's when we
Yeah.
gotta go.
Okay,
Have a good week, everybody. Thanks for
Say
joining
bye,
us on the
y'all.
Reporter on the Air.
bye.